Hi guys, Lemmy here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that was brought up in a previous video of mine, the talent versus passion video. And it was in that video that I received multiple comments saying that talent does not exist. And I figured it would be a great idea for a video and it would be fun to see what people think in the comment section about this topic. And I always love browsing my comment section and seeing so many well thought out responses, and I think you guys are absolutely amazing, and I love that even though we may not agree about everything under the sun, we still show each other a great amount of respect, and for that I am super proud of everyone. So on to today's topic. So here are some questions I want you guys to think about while I talk during this video. Is talent a figment of your imagination? Is talent just a misused term for the word dedication? Did people get where they are in this world only because of hard work and practice? Or is there some sort of other unseen force manipulating your success at tasks given to you by birth? Before we really get into the art side of this topic, I think it would be kind of interesting to talk about how it relates to real life situations. So this is very similar to the nature versus nurture debate. This topic is generally brought up when you're talking about grade school age children. It's mostly about how the child is being reared versus what a child is born with. So for example, is a person intelligent because they were genetically born to be? Or is the child succeeding because a caretaker raised the child to be successful? You may know this topic and that there are many other factors that actually go into the nature versus nurture debate, but I'm just going to try to keep it really simple for the sake of this video. All in all, I don't see things in this world to be so cut and dry that it's either one way or another. Genetics plays into intelligence, yes, but upbringing does as well. So both to me are equally important. If you're born with a learning disability of some sort, it's much more difficult for a child to learn certain things. However, if you nurture that same child and work hard at their weaknesses, they will be a success. Also, if a child is born and is developmentally ahead of others their same age and all that jazz, if the kid is not nurtured, nothing may ever become of those abilities. So like most things in life, I feel like it's important to view everything as a balance. Things are rarely ever so black and white, and I think that the reality of nature versus nurture has to do heavily with both ideas being blended together in a proper balance to create a well-rounded child. Okay, so let's say that instead of using the word nature, we replace it with the word talent. Something that you naturally excel at. And instead of using nurture, we use the words developed skill. And if you think of it that way, it can be a really, a pretty similar debate here. So with all that being said, I want to bring up this idea. And the unfortunate truth is that sometimes children are born with hereditary illnesses or disease. And I myself come from a family where every single member in my family has had a life-changing illness, including myself. So in no way am I trying to hurt anyone by saying these comments. But as a person who has an illness, when I see another child who also has an illness, I acknowledge it. And I fully realize that that child has a weakness and has a lot to overcome in their future. So if I can recognize that negative things can happen at birth with the genetic lottery and all that, I want to think, well, why can't we recognize that good things can happen as well? So why can't children be born with strengths? Why can't they be born with talents or things they have a natural aptitude for? Okay, so here's a thought. Let's say we take two kids who have never drawn before in their entire lives. Like, I don't know, maybe they never made pencils or something and they live on the moon. If we put those 2 moon children in a room for 1 week, give them each a pencil, teach the same classes, and allot each kid the same amount of time to practice, are you going to tell me that what they both create at the end of that week will be exactly the same? Of course not. You know, everyone is different and everyone is unique, and people will be better at some things and worse at others. And it's the simple idea of strengths and weaknesses, and that is totally normal and totally fine. Now, of course, you could also learn to have a strength or a weakness for something. You know, the idea of nurturing. If you practice something that's super hard for you, you can actually turn that into a strength. If you are really great at something but had lots of discouragement, then it may become a weakness. It's important to realize that we're all just people, and people are forever changing one way or another. If you don't think that you were born with raw talent, you can develop your skill with dedication. But to say that you cannot be talented, I think is extremely strange, because it's like telling people that they can neither excel nor lack at something. It's kind of like putting your hands over your eyes and saying, hey, everyone is exactly the same. I mean, that's just not life. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a place where everyone is exactly the same. I want people to look different, speak different, have different experiences, and everyone has something special to bring to the table, and everyone's good at something. They might not be good at something else, but that's kind of what makes the world special. So I'm going to give you another example. There are children in this world that are like 6 years old and are considered to be musical prodigies. Another person can spend 60 years practicing piano and never be close to that child's level. And to not acknowledge these things exist, I mean, it's just really like mind-boggling to me. And I know people are going to say, well, those 6-year-olds practice straight without eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, or being a kid. And I mean, like, honestly, if you were just born, you're not going to be holding a violin or playing a piano because your gross motor control needs to develop. So they're going to need a few of those 6 years to grow so that they can even really start to practice. But hell, let's give the kid the benefit of the doubt and say that they came out of their mom with a piano attached to them, and that they practiced for 6 years straight and never slept. Are you going to tell me that someone who has played piano as a hobby for 60 years has played less than the kid who played for 6 years straight? I mean, if you really add up the time spent doing the task over the years, I'm sure it equals out. Or maybe it might even be in the 60-year-old hobbyist's favor. So if they both had the same amount of time to practice, why is one musician so much more skilled and or acclaimed than the other? And I know when I say, like, okay, well, that child, that musical prodigy is talented, I honestly don't think that when I say that someone's talented, it's like the sort of thing that, you know, the clouds separate and out falls from the heavens a child, and like the ocean separates and then from a burst of light comes a piano, and like there's this prodigy music kid. I mean, a child can be born with a talent or strength, but also the dedication and hard work that that kid puts into their skill is what makes it really blossom into something that's remarkable. And like I said in my previous video about the matter, with talent versus passion. When you have both talent and passion, you're like an unstoppable force and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. I'm not saying that everyone has to go around and be talented and amazing at something in this world. Quite frankly, I think that everyone should just do what they love or enjoy, and as long as it's not hurting themselves or anyone else, then you should just go for it. You know, if you have that passion, go make it happen. If you weren't born with the thing that you love as a strength, go make it into one. And I really honestly believe that you can do that. But to completely ignore other people's abilities and say that, oh, well, that genius kid was just molded to be like that, is just simply not true. You can force a person to do something for an allotted amount of time, but that doesn't mean that it's going to directly correlate to the ability or skill level of that child. So there you have it. I strongly believe that talent is a real thing. What do you guys think? Do you think talent is a myth, or do you think it's a legit thing? If two kids were placed in a room with the same lessons, same supplies, same time to practice with no prior experience, would they both have the same quality artwork by the end of that week? Let me know what you guys think below. As always, I do end up editing my comment section and pinning frequently asked questions to the top. So if you want to know more about what I think, you can find a continuation down below once I kind of read all your comments and then decide like where I should take the discussion from there. So thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to read all of your comments and see what you guys think about this topic. And I'll see you next week in another art video.